BBC Jeff back again. I did just make a video, and this one may be appearing maybe a day later, so I'm not sure if I'll get to edit this one and post at the same time, but I figured while I got everything set up, I'd do another one. My last video, I showed all the recent things that I got that were new releases, things that had been pre-ordered, things along that line. And so this is kind of like the rest. This is other stuff that has come in recent days that's not necessarily, they're not new items. So I just wanted to cover them though, some of the things I've done. Some of these were Discogs, some of these were maybe Amazon, things like that. Most all of them were online. I don't think I've went to a local record store since a couple videos ago, but I went ahead and picked this up, KXM. Now, this album came out in 2014, and I've listened to it a handful of times digitally, and for some reason, I never got into it as much. And then they had a second album out, and you know, it didn't do a whole lot for me, and now they have a third album out in 2019. Now, I'm a big King's X fan. This has Doug Pinnick, the singer, bass player for King's X. So it has that vibe just because of his vocal styles. His bass is a distinctive sound. It's got George Lynch on guitar. Big Dokken fan, you know, I'm a big George Lynch fan. So you would think everything about this would say, love me. And I can't say I don't like it, but for some reason it just didn't really grab me like some things. Well, I've been reading Doug Pinnick's biography recently, and so I've had him on the mind, and occasionally he'll mention bands that he'd recorded with over the years that I didn't know that he had albums out by so-and-so band or this band or that band. And so it made me start looking things up, and then I thought, you know, I need to have these because I am, you know, a fan of these guys, of, you know, the musicians, and maybe I just need to give them more of a listen. So I found a copy of this. This is their first album, like I said, 2014. I found a copy of this for a really good price. And I thought, that's better just grab it now. Because the other two more recent ones are not as easy to find, not as cheap. So anyway, I went ahead and grabbed this, and yeah, you know, I'm going to keep giving this some spins. I listen to it and I dig it. I just, you know, I want to dig it more. And maybe at the time I listened to it years ago, maybe I was distracted by so much other music that I didn't give it a fair chance. So went ahead and picked that up. And that was brand new. The rest of the stuff is just some stuff I picked up that is, you know, secondhand type stuff. Finally got Wasted Vices. I think this was another Discogs order where I might have found something else, or maybe I went after this. It was a really good price, and it's on the Chrysalis label. This is Pete Way and, you know, Finn, and this album came out back in the 80s. I fell in love with the album. I've been a big fan of Wasted ever since. I like them in there in this style with the singer Finn. They did do that one really commercial, almost AOR at times album, and it's not a bad album. It's a great album, but it's, to me, it doesn't sound like Wasted. And so then the singer, other Finn, came back and did a couple more albums with them. So I'm kind of more of the gritty, gutsier Finn sound. And this is their first album, and just a classic. I put this on. I mean, I've had this since it came out. Oh, look, it is a gold stamp promo. Anyway, one of my favorites. The other ones around this same time frame, also some of my favorites, and I'm eventually going to pick those up. But I found that for a real good price. And then while I was at it, I also picked up the first autograph. Again, this is one of those things where you go after one album and you come out because they had a good price. You pick up a couple other albums. So, autographed the first album. I have their second and third, so I figured it was time to get this. It's still in the shrink. I'll probably end up taking that off. Album's in great condition. They kept it in the shrink to keep the hype sticker on there. I may just cut the hype sticker off. I don't know, because I don't like that, the shrink look. It's all kind of old and aged. It does say, it says, well, it's this free poster audit from Papermate, and there is a flyer inside where you can send it in for the poster, but I doubt they'll do that now. So many years later. That's what, 1984 release, I believe. This was brand new. It is a cutout, but again, the price was right. David Chastain's Instrumental Variations. Absolutely one of my favorite shred instrumental albums. One of my favorite David Chastain albums. This was in the early 80s too. 80s, what, 83, 84, 80, oh, 87, no, okay. Well, whatever, 87. The 80s are in a blur. You had to be there. But, yeah, anyway, one of my favorites. This and Within the Heat, which was, I think, came after this one. His instrumental stuff, just, I love, love, love it. So I had to have this. Like I say, it is a cutout, but it was brand new in the shrink for a real good price, and I went ahead and grabbed it. back in the 80s, from about 85 into the 90s, I listened to a ton of this stuff. All kinds of bands were putting out this stuff. Shredding guitar work, instrumental guitar work was a big thing. And there are so many albums in that time period. Chastain, David Chastain is one of my favorites. I love the band Chastain, which that album would have been in the earlier 80s, so that's what I might have been thinking of. The first couple albums, you know, with leather on vocals and all that. Then he started doing these instrumental albums. Great stuff, great stuff. So I decided I had to get that. I found it. Again, it was unopened, and it was for a good price. Now, these next two... Why, Jeff? Why did you buy these? I've had these albums before, and I've sold them over the years, and you probably won't have a clue who these are. Found them on a website on sale for cheap, for under $10. This is, okay, it says AP2 Suspension of Belief. This is the second Argyle Park album. Now, Argyle Park, industrial metal at times, industrial noise, a lot of electronics, a lot of industrial stuff. And in the day when it first one came out, the first one called Misguided. This one was reissued recently on like a triple disc combo that's got so many bonus tracks. Well, Clayton, Scott, whatever you want to call him, from Circle of Dust, at the time Circle of Dust, now he's in Cell Dweller, he's in Scandroid. He's got a lot of different bands, a lot of different personas or you know, musical genres that he records under. He was part of this, along with a lot of other musicians. It was kind of the brainchild of two other guys, but Scott was involved in helping it. This one, not so much Scott, but it is the same two guys, and so it's got a similar feel. This one I really had a lot of different guest people on it. This one's a little more laid back. So over the years, I kept this one but didn't keep this one. When I saw this for sale, I'm like, I haven't heard this album in probably 20 years. When was this? 2000. Yeah. I haven't heard this album probably since then, and so I want to give it another try. Now, while I was at it, I also got Mortal. I had this album. I've had all the Mortal stuff before, and then I realized, you know, over the years, I've sold off some stuff, and then over the years, I've picked up some stuff. And I realized this was the only Mortal album that I currently did not have on CD, and there it was for a couple dollars. And turns out I don't know why I ever got rid of this. I think sometimes I got tight on cash. You just kind of get rid of things. And Mortal is another band that started off very industrial, very sound effects, movie clips. I loved the first album, and I'm glad it was reissued on vinyl a couple years ago. And the second album was great. They started changing up a little. The third album, it kind of became more of an alternative rock with a little bit of sound effects. And when you get down to this, it becomes almost, there's a little bit of that, but it's really more melodic, more atmospheric at times. Anyway, great stuff. One of the guys, I can't remember what he plays, but one of the guys from this band did go on eventually to join Switchfoot. I think he's still on Switchfoot, but he was with them for many years. If not, he may still be with them, I think. But now, why, you know, these are classics I've had over the years, but I thought, you know, I was kind of in a kick on getting into some of this industrial, noisy stuff, and that's mainly because not too many months ago, Jason over at Low Noise, Jason Skills, he sent me, he has a lot, he has his own label, represents a lot of these types of bands, sent me some cassettes months ago that I've been listening to on and off. This one I really enjoy. I made a video commenting about it. It's kind of like a movie soundtrack, great sounds, and some of his other stuff, and he sent me some digital versions. And so when I got this and started listening to it, I thought, wow, it sounds very reminiscent to the stuff that the bands he's playing now. Some of the stuff he does is very experimental, very noisy, but some of it is more atmospheric and like this. So it was like really cool to revisit some of these older albums. So that's it, though. Great stuff. I'm happy, and that's some of the more recent used stuff that I got. So anyway, that's all for now. I will be back, though. I do thank you for watching. You know, do all the stuff below. Comment. Let me know some stuff you've been doing recently, and I will see you later. Rock on and rock hard.